And let me share my screen with you guys. Not yet, but soon. Okay. Ms. Tops, I feel like it's only fair, since you requested that I go through this long, arduous process to do this, that I call on you first. Yeah?
No, yeah, I feel like that's unfair. I should be mad.
I do feel like it's unfair, and I like it even more for that reason. Okay, so pretty soon, you're going to see a foot come up. Miss Bauer just went over this. So there's extra pressure here, and I love, by the way, what she did, where she kind of talked about stuff on the outsides of your body and insides and on tops and backs, and so you can kind of figure stuff out. What muscle do you suppose is kind of close to his finger there? This one right here. Miss Tops. You're muted, ma'am. Yeah, even if she's wrong. By the way, and here, let me give you an example, too. Well, let's reveal first. Abductor digiti minimi. She's 100% right. By the way, just to let you know on the test, the other thing this muscle kind of could have been, I mean, it's not quite right, but it could have been like something like the flexor digiti minimi, because it's on the bottom right. I would not put those two answers on a test. They're too close to each other. They require too much on eyesight, for example. Now, she did a really good job because she saw it was going to the side of the little toe, and it really should be the abductor. But my point is I don't pick stuff that's nitpicky, right? But along with that question, I guarantee you I would have had an adductor digiti minimi to make sure you know the difference between abduction and adduction. And I guarantee you I would have had a flexor digiti minimi and an extensor digiti minimi. That'd probably be exact. I don't know. I haven't looked at the test in a long time. But if I had to guess, 95% chance this question's on there, and it's got those four choices. Abductor digiti minimi, adductor digiti minimi, flexor digiti minimi, extensor digiti minimi. Right? I might have thrown a holosis in there too, just to see if you're really, really far off. And the point is to kind of be able to figure out, like, where am I on the foot, right? I'm sorry, and I lied. I wouldn't have flexor digiti minimi because I said it was too common. But my point is I'd have that kind of stuff going on. Very, very good, Miss Tops. I feel like you're on a roll, ma'am. You're just kind of warming up. And you just unmuted yourself. So what are these two muscles here?
So it's going to be the abductor hallucis and the flexor digitorum?
Yeah. Flexor digitorum.
Flexor digitorum brevis.
Yes. The other thing I will not do to you on the test is I won't have a flexor digitorum brevis and longus. I think it's kind of cruel. So there is a flexor digitorum longus that lives up your leg, but I just want you to, I want the memory that you can take with you for the next 20 years. And what Miss Tops did, I guarantee you if I came back to her 20 years from now, she would still be able to pull this out because of the way she's thinking about it. And that's what I want. That's what, she's like, I'm not so sure about that. Yeah, you're going to be able to do it. I do, by the way, check back in with you all in 20 years, just so you know, without warning. I just show up at your house. Yeah. Okay. And, Miss Tops, couple more, really quick. We just got, we're on a roll. Hey, what's with the attitude? All right. What is this muscle here?
The flexor digitorum brevis.
See, this is why we're doing this, everybody. Because Ms. Tops has lost her cool now, and she has made a horrible mistake, and that would be
that is the extensor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
because extensors are on top. They extend out your toes. They're on top. Yeah.
That's the extensor.
Yeah. By the way, flexor digitorum would have been an answer on that test. Right. So right now you've got about a 75 on the test, and you're not passing the class.
Oh.
It's not a good day. Not a good day. Okay. You're free. Mr. Gachekian.
Oh boy.
Nope, that's not the name, sir. There is no muscle actually in the body named the oh boy muscle. Have you Mr. Kachikian, have you ever watched Bob's Burgers?
Yeah.
Do you know who you sound like right now?
That's
Yeah.
That's
I love it too, Miss Smith. I love it too so much. It makes me so happy. I like it, yeah. That and SpongeBob. Oh my god. Alright, so, or do you want me to walk you through this, Mr. Kacheki? I'm happy to do that.
Yes, please.
Okay. So, what part of the body are we on? I mean, just like the lay terms for it. Is this a hand? A neck?
I think that's a foot.
Okay. Good. Okay. And there is a muscle going to a whole bunch of the little toes there. What do we call that when a muscle goes to multiple toes? Or fingers, by the way. This is true for fingers later, everybody. This works exactly the same for hands.
Digits?
Yes! Those are called digits. And so if you were Harry Potter and you had a muscle going to just digits, don't worry about one muscle yet, how would you make digits sound more Harry Potter spellish?
Digitorum?
Yes! You didn't say it very much like Harry Potter, but still, you were correct. It would be digitorum! Okay, so this muscle is something digitorum, right? Now, if it's on the bottom and it pulls, it's going to pull my toes under. What do you call it when your toes get pulled under?
Flexing?
Yes! Yeah, because when they go out, that's extending, just like on a leg extension machine.
So the flexor digitorum. Oh, no.
No, don't say oh no, say oh yes. And just say one more thing, but be brief with it.
Flexor digitorum.
Just one more word, but be brief with it if you don't mind.
Brevis?
Oh, yeah. The short muscle that flexes the digits. That's what he just said to us in Latin. And you were right. It hurts your head, but you're right. Good job. Sir, you did it.
Thank you.
You did it. This is the plantar fascia, by the way, guys. It's not a muscle. It's all the fascia on the bottom of your foot. I'm just showing you a picture of it. Plantar fascia, plantar aponeurosis, both are the same term. Miss Tops, yes ma'am.
When we take the test, can we go back, like how I just said the same muscle twice? Can I go back and change it, or is it as soon as I click it, it's over?
As soon as you click it, it's over for that reason.
Wow.
Because you said wow, like, wow, what a jerky thing to do. That's why it was so funny. But here's why I did it, because I also didn't want to test if you're a good test taker. And if you're a good test taker, you can go through a test like that and you can start to match up stuff and go back to it and switch it and fix it. I want to know that you know what extensors and flexors are without going back to them. So that's why I did it. You're right. So you're right. You take a question, and you'll take a question, you'll be like, next question, you'll be like, because it's hard not to do that in a test like this. So you're right. Anyway, yeah, everybody, you take it on this end of your test, once you take a question and you answer it, and you have to answer it to move on. You move on, you can never go back to it. And you all have the same answers, but they're all mixed. So you can't look to the person next to you and be like, oh, they pushed A, the answer must be A. The answers are mixed and the questions are mixed. You'll get them at different times in the test, so you don't know what the person next to you is working on. Because you guys are sneaky, you're shifty-eyed. Gotta watch y'all.
You're proud about that, huh?
Well, it's human nature. We really wanted to know what you know before you leave. Miss Stewart, yes ma'am.
We're taking the test at school.
Yes. You're taking the test at school.
It's open book.
No.
Oh.
It is not open book, and you can't open a phone. Even if you need a phone to translate, you can't. That's why it's been designed this way. It's proctored. It's like a college entrance test.
Are we going to have a study guide of any sort?
This video. Your notes. But you will not be given a study guide, no. No.
Okay, and then also the other thing was, are we going to have to know, because you said it was 80%, like
Roughly.
muscle identification, and then you said kind of like 25% actions, or 20% actions?
Yeah.
What about like origin insertion and...
No, I don't think there's origin insertion questions, but there are muscles that would be very hard to identify or figure out the action if you didn't know the origin insertion. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And there's also another question or another thing that I
No,
thought
please.
that would be on there. So it's basically all math.
By the way, there might be bone question. There might be bones on there too.
Okay.
But what I try to do is kind of a cumulative test in the sense of, well, I mean, kind of like what you just saw. Even what you just saw Ms. Tops and Mr. Kachekian just do required kind of understanding multiple things. You had to know what abduction was or flexion was to answer the question. You had to kind of know the area you're going. You had to know about all that kind of stuff. And sort of things like that that rely on your knowledge of where bones are and things like that. But they're not purposely meant to be tricky. So I didn't have to ask those questions separately. That's why it's only 100 questions. It goes really quick.
Okay. And then nothing like that would be like from the MT book, really. It's more so like.
No, unless you want to say it's from the kinesiology chapter.
Okay.
The kinesiology chapter, which you guys will meet again in the next class one last time. If you did it all well on the kinesiology test, you're going to ace the test at the end of the year. If you did it all well, closed book with the kinesiology. The kinesiology test was hard, I thought.
Alright.
That was that 250 question test you guys took. It was open book, yeah. So, yeah. This test is designed to make sure we don't graduate people that don't know their muscles and don't know the basic actions and can't find them. I would be embarrassed if you went on a job interview and that happened and somebody was like, that was one of your students. I'd be like, oh my gosh, no.
Oh yeah, then what day is the test? Or like.
Oh, I know that, but I'll tell you what, hold on. Since you have asked, let me pull up my calendar here, and let's see if I can answer that question. It is a long way off, although I think, hold on, bear with me.
I think Ibarra said like November 30th.
I think it's further than that, because you guys are still in class. Let's see. Oh, except then you have, you might be right. Let's see, because you guys have your third clinic, and we take the test before your third clinic, is that? Yeah. Ibarra was correct. November 30th is when we take this final. Here's what's kind of cool about this, because after the final, you guys have 2 weeks of clinic. After 2 weeks of clinic, you go on winter break, and then you come back, and we do some final, like, getting your licenses ready. But you're kind of done with all the tests and baloney. You're done. You kind of coast on out of here. So that's what's kind of nice. And that means, like, when you go into your final clinic, you're kind of done with studying and everything. That's it. So November 30th is not the end of the class, but it's the end of the hard work here. That's it. Like, it really is. Like, your nights are going to free up. The birds are going to sing. The sun is going to come out shining. Money will rain from the heavens. Yeah, it's going to be good times. Yeah.
And I think we said this before.
What?
But it's not going to make or break our grade depending on the scores that we've had in the past blocks.
Currently, we do not count it as I don't even know what they call that, but sometimes you have to pass a final to pass the class. If you have a high enough score in the class, you could fail the final.
Okay. I don't plan on failing, but I just hate getting like a 75.
Well, we did that because maybe you're just a really bad test taker kind of thing or whatever, and you get anxiety. We don't want to do that. So if you go into the final with a 95, it'd be very hard. I don't even know if you could fail the class. You know what I mean? What really stinks though is if you have not been paying attention all along and you're going into the final with an 81. Then you can easily flunk the final and easily fail the course. Yeah. But so if you're somebody who's like, this final's freaking me out, keep your test score up high. Keep your class score up high. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, so it's not a pass or fail thing.
The final's not a pass or fail thing. In fact, one of the main reasons we give it to you, by the way, is to make sure that we are not, it's really to test myself, Mr. Ibarra, and Miss Bauer, to be honest with you. I mean, yes, you're getting tested. Yes, it's worth 100 points. And yes, it could fail you, but it's not designed to fail you at all. If you think about it, you're going to have assignments worth more than the open book assignments worth more than this test in the last class. This is really to make sure we are not graduating students, because we know this is online. We know you can fudge stuff in this class, and we're okay with that. Like, depending on the level you want to be at. But we're not okay with you graduating not knowing your muscles, not knowing basic actions, not knowing the thing that we think every massage therapist should know. If you don't know, like, the valves in the heart, it's not going to affect a darn thing in your daily massage practice. If you don't know what osteoclasts and osteoblasts are that form and break down bone, it's not going to affect your daily stuff in massage even a little bit. It might affect your MBLEX test, but it ain't going to affect you as a massage therapist. And so we don't worry about that. But we do really, really worry about you knowing your basic anatomy. So that's what we're making sure is that you walk out the door knowing your basic anatomy. And you should want to pass this test for that reason. Yes, Ms. Tops.
So if we get a question wrong, does it automatically tell us that we got that question wrong, or do we have to wait till the end to get our answer?
It currently, I think you currently have to wait till the end. But I don't, this is one thing in Canvas I don't know that it will do. But I can check. That'd be kind of cool, huh? I don't mind it telling you right away. Oh, maybe I do. Sorry. Because that could also be very telling. Because if you're not sure that, like, the extensor digitorum is the extensor digitorum of the flexor digitorum, and then you know you got that wrong, you know, use that answer again for the bottom side of the foot. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense, but also me as
You're
a
very
test
tricky
taker,
today,
I
Miss
don't
Tops.
Can I explain?
I'm teasing. Go ahead.
But also me as a test taker, if I got a question wrong or just say 2 or 3 questions wrong, it lets me know that I need to slow down, take my time, and think a little more versus just continuing to move as fast as I was moving.
Yeah. Yes, this is
Yeah, you don't care about that?
I was going to say something almost that snotty, and I don't mean it to sound snotty. This time I really don't. But, like, you've got, like, 3 hours to take a test that's going to take most of you 1 hour.
Okay.
Yeah. I've never had a single student max the time out on this test.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 hours is still for 100 questions. It won't take me 3 hours, but
I don't know if I have anybody go over 2 hours. I don't want to say it out loud, though, because I'll feel bad if somebody does. Like, it's okay if you do. But, I mean, honestly, if you were like, I need 5 hours, I'd be like, okay. You're taking it during lab, by the way. This is nothing extra you do. You just come in instead of lab that day, you take the test. But people, yeah. I guarantee you this, for all of you, it's the type of test that if you hit the 3 hour mark and you haven't finished, you don't know and you should just stop. Like, you don't have to stop, but you should. You should just be like, this not the, yeah, I don't know. Miss Stewart.
It's multiple choice, right?
That's the other thing, it's multiple choice, yeah.
So you have, like, obviously 2 of the answers are going to be completely wrong. So the other 2 are going to be like, it's like a 50-50 chance. Getting it wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's that easy, because I did try to make the multiple choice stuff that would be like a flexor instead of an extensor, things like that. But you are right. It's 4, I think it's only 4 choices. And you're right. If you guess entirely, you should get a 25%. I don't even call it multiple choice. It's multiple guess. You know what I mean? You're absolutely right. And that's much harder than what we are doing here in class, where I call on you and say, tell me the name of this muscle. It'd be like me calling you in class and saying, out of these 4 choices, which is it? That's very different. Yeah, that's why I really, really feel like you should do well. Like, you should be concerned if you don't do well on this test. I will be concerned. Mr. Bigelow.
Hey, Mr. Tapscott. My daughter just came home from school and she has a flat tire. And she has to go back to school. Can I run out just real quick and put some air in there?
Yeah, why don't you take your, I know this is, but because I have to count you present, why don't you take your phone with you?
Okay.
Put yourself on mute and show us you pumping up a tire.
That should be pretty.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Be manly about it.
Okay,
Then we'll ask you what muscles you used when you come back.
All right.
All right. Thank you. All right, buddy. Moving right along. Miss Smith. I actually feel bad for calling you, because the reason I called on you, Miss Smith, is because you smiled and nodded at everything I said. which is actually really helpful. Like somebody's like, yeah, I get that. What muscle is this, Miss Smith? What?
I just dropped you. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
This is an extensor.
You say extensor?
Is it the tibialis anterior?
So, where's it going to?
Your toes, it's a digitorum.
Okay, so that tells you, yeah.
Extensor digitorum longus.
Yeah, everybody, by the way, those of you that work out at the gym, when you sit down on that machine, you kick your legs out, they're called leg extensions. That's how I remember with the toes, too. So when your toes go out, and if something was on top, pulling my toes out, that would be an extensor digitorum longus. Yeah, really well done. She made a fairly good mistake when she said tibialis anterior, because the tibialis anterior is a muscle, right, that's on the front of the tibialis, right here. What would the tibialis anterior have done that's different than this muscle? Can anybody tell me that? What, Miss Smith?
Not go to the toes.
Not go to the toes, and even more, you're 100% right. Give me more. What?
No, that's in the back.
The tibialis anterior goes underneath the foot, but even more importantly, it crosses from the lateral side here. It crosses over to the medial side and goes underneath the foot. And so it's a very unusual looking muscle. When we see a picture of it coming up, it's going to look like this muscle, but it's going to cross over the ankle and go to the inside of the arch of the foot. And that's what makes it so much different. But by the way, Miss Smith is 100% right. It also doesn't go to the toes. It's very good. And that's the kind of thinking we want on this kind of thing.
Is it one of those stirrup muscles?
It is. The tibialis anterior, along with your peroneus longus or your fibularis longus, the same muscle, attach and make the stirrup of the foot. One comes over, the tibialis crosses over and hooks to the inside of your foot. The fibularis longus comes to the other side and it makes a stirrup. And all day long, they're both on the lateral side of your foot, but all day long they tweak your foot to inversions and eversions to control your balance. Yeah. You tend to feel them after long hikes, where you've had to control uneven surfaces. You also feel these muscles, the tibialis anterior, when you're doing a long car ride and you're driving and you have to pull your foot off the gas and control the gas pedal a lot. Sometimes your shin's still sore after that one shin, because it also helps with that too. In fact, the tibialis anterior does the exact opposite as the fibularis longus. The tibialis anterior inverts and flex, does a plantar flexion. The peroneus longus and fibularis longus does an evert and a dorsiflexion. Nope, plantar flexion. Tibialis anterior does the dorsiflexion, but they do the exact opposite. So they are stabilizer muscles that help to kind of control these little movements in your feet. And this is why the outside of your shins get tired. The other significance of stuff like this, and the digitorum longus, by the way, is they pick your toes up when you walk. And you don't think about it, but every time you take a step forward, you lift your toes up so you don't drag them along the ground. And runners often get tired in this area too because they're lifting their toes up every single step. Pretty significant. Okay. All right. Miss Flores. Miss Flores, what muscle might this be? Tell me where it's going to, what it's doing. If you tell me where it's going to, it should really give you a big clue.
I don't know, teacher.
Yeah? Well, where's it going to?
Well, it's like next to the extensor one you just mentioned.
Okay, well, that's good to know. But I meant, where's this line seem to be heading to, this tendon seem to be heading to?
To the toe?
Yeah, which toe?
The big toe.
Big toe. What? You're 100% right. That's exactly where that tendon's going. The tendon is inserting into the big toe. Anytime a tendon inserts into the big toe, it's got a name in that. Yes, hallucis. So, what might this muscle be called? It's going to lift that big toe out, kind of like the other muscle we just saw.
Extensor.
Keep going. Extensor, big ptois. Oh, but we don't say big ptois. What do we say? You just told me the name for it.
Extensor hallucis.
That's good enough for me right there.
Longus something, I don't know.
That's it. Don't second guess yourself. Extensor hallucis longus. That was beautiful. I think you do know. I really do. I know it's embarrassing to go through it in front of a whole bunch of people. I get that, everybody. But you did know. Just think about it. It actually is true what Miss Stewart said. Just knowing hallucis would have eliminated 2 of the 4 questions. Because I guarantee you I would have had like digiti minimi on there and digitorum, right? I would have had extensor hallucis longus and flexor hallucis longus. That's where I would have gotten you. Right? But she knew, Miss Lotus knew it was on top. She had paid attention to the last answer, which also helped her. And she knew that big toe coming out was extensor hallucis. Guessing whether it's longus or brevis isn't always as easy, but she made a good guess on that too. It went up the leg, so it was longus. That was really well done. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Really well done. All right. Miss Smith, what is this muscle?
Is this one the tibialis?
Yeah, that's why I called it you. I wish they even painted it more going down. Like, it's going to go down and actually underneath the foot, but the point is it crosses from lateral to medial and goes underneath the foot. And so this is the tibialis anterior. Yep. And that's the telltale sign of the tibialis anterior. He said with great emphasis, as the person who wrote the test at the end of the year. Okay. Good. All right. Okay. Miss Mitchell, what muscle's this?
The gastrocnemius?
Yeah, beautiful 2-bellied muscle. How many joints does it cross over?
2?
Yes, she's right. It crosses over the knee and the ankle, which means what 2 actions could it create?
Flexion?
Of the... Just because...
The knee joint to the, like...
Yeah, the knee joint. We'll take knee joint. It's your tibial femoral joint, but I'll take knee joint right now. Flexion of the knee. And
like dorsal, no. Something of the ankle?
yes, it is something of the ankle. It's a certain type of flexion.
Is it a dorsiflexion?
That's when you lift your foot up to stop a door. This thing's pulling on the back of my heel, so it's going to push my foot down. It's going to plant it on the ground really hard.
So plantar flexion.
Yes, plantar flexion. So it causes the flexion of the knee and a plantar flexion. Yeah, and I'm sorry, I was throwing more at you to kind of show you the added information that you would want to put on this muscle. By the way, that's about that level of information. If you can say that about every muscle, you are going to be an amazing therapist, and you'd be an amazing physical therapist, and you'd be an amazing personal trainer, because you've just named where that muscle goes, why it's important, and the things it can do. That's it. You've been able to identify it, and you can tell me what joints it crosses, and you can tell me what actions it creates, and that's golden. Just golden. Thank you. That was really well done. Thank you. Thank you. Miss Vega, what muscle is this?
Soleus?
It is the soleus. Why did you not think it was the gastrocnemius? I mean, besides the fact that we just saw that one. Because the soleus doesn't cross over 2 joints. Right? So the soleus does not cross over the knee. It only crosses over the ankle. So, what action or actions does the soleus have, Miss Vega?
Just the plantar flexion?
Yes, all day long, guys, that's all you can do with the soleus. It just plantar flexes. It's your main calf muscle, actually. It's the heavy lifter. Yeah. Well done. In fact, when you guys do seated calf raises, the gastrocnemius stops working, because you've taken tension out of the line by bending your knee. And so you're only working your soleus. And it's actually one of the reasons that personal trainers who really know their stuff sometimes recommend you don't do seated calf raises, because this muscle's getting worked all the time anyways. So you don't need to specialize it and take the gastrocnemius out of the equation. It's getting worked all the time. you don't want to make it even more imbalanced and work it even more. You'd like to do straight-legged calf raises or donkey calf raises where you bend over to keep those fascial lines tense and back. Just little things you can throw in if you know your anatomy. Okay. All right. Mr. Penrod, what muscle is this? This little adorable cute red muscle. Wrong. Still wrong. What?
Wrong.
Wrong again.
What do you mean wrong?
Wrong. Incorrect.
The tiny one behind the gastrocnemius?
Yeah, little red one there, yeah.
Plantaris?
Yeah, he's right. Plantaris. Thank you, sir. Plantaris. Plantaris is part of what muscle group, sir?
Calf muscles.
Yeah, it's part of the 3 calf muscles. It's just a tiny one. How many joints does it cross over?
2.
2. It's pretty tiny, so we don't even talk about it. Most people don't even talk about it as a calf muscle, but it is. So since it crossed over 2 muscles, what 2 actions can it do, sir? Wrong.
I have to work it out. It doesn't flex the knee,
Flexion of the knee. Bends the knee, yes.
and then it dorsiflex. Plantar flex. Sorry,
Plantar flex.
I did the right action.
I know exactly what you're doing. I'm just teasing you. You're doing great. Thank you, sir. Yep. Really well done. There's a picture of the plantaris. By the way, everybody, this picture's a little bit deceptive. The plantaris does have the longest tendon in the body. That's adorable. But this tendon becomes part of the tendon down here of the gastrocnemius and the soleus. All of them come together and make your calcaneus tendon. All of them come together and make your Achilles tendon. Those are the same tendon. If you cut somebody's ankle tendon, which you should never do, but you're cutting all 3 of those at once, they weave in together at the end. That's what fascia does. So they're showing it to you separate to try to make a point, but really they are all one muscle by the time they get down to your ankle. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is a good one. Okay, Mr. McClure, what muscle is this? Actually, I should say muscles, because it's 2 here.
I don't know.
Okay, that's honest.
There's the lateral.
Thank you. I was about to ask that. That's actually very cool that you recognized that.
It only crosses over one joint.
Yes, that's true too. And it kind of runs along. What's the bone on the lateral side of your leg?
It everts the foot, so it's a fibularis.
Yeah.
Those are the. I can hear Mystery Bar's voice in my head.
That's frightening.
It's the peroneals.
Yes.
Fibularis longus and brevis.
Yeah, he's right. It's the peroneus longus and brevis and the fibularis longus and brevis, which are the same thing, everybody. It's just 2 different ways of saying it. One of those words goes out of fashion every so often. I can't remember which one I learned first. I think I learned the peroneals first. Now people are back to the fibularis, which I kind of like because it runs along the fibula. He is right, it runs along the outside of the leg, so it can actually evert the foot. And this is very hard to imagine, but it goes around the lateral malleolus there, the ankle bone, which acts as a pulley, so it can also help to plantar flex your foot a little bit. Not powerful, not like a calf muscle can, but it can. So, these are the peroneals, or the fibularis. Same thing. Really well done, sir. Yep.
Thanks.
I love it. And they get very sore in people.
Thanks, Mystery Bar, for shouting at me all the time. Those are the peroneals!
The peroneals. They're a big deal, by the way, guys, and we make a big deal out of some of these muscles because other massage therapists don't massage them. They don't massage the tibialis anterior and they don't massage the peroneals, and people get really sore and tired down there because they're stabilizing muscles. There's just a lot of places people miss. And I promise you when you get out and rub some of these places, people are going to be like, nobody's ever done that before. And you're going to be like, that's so weird. Like, it's so obvious to me. And they're going to love you for it. They're going to think you're really unique and know your stuff. And you're even going to know the name of them. That'll be even better. Cool. Okay. Miss Lopez Moreno. What might be this muscle on this beautiful thigh we were looking at?
It is the rectus.
So why do you say the rectus femoris?
The part of the hamstring.
You mean part of the quads?
I mean quads. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So you guessed that we're on the front of the leg, so it's got to be a quad, right?
Yeah.
I love that. That's why you want to think about this. This is on the front of the leg. It's got to be a quad. And then you said it could be the rectus femoris. Why'd you think rectus femoris and not like vastus intermedius, which is in that exact same area? Vastus intermedius almost looks exactly like this muscle.
But I think the vastus intermedius is a little bit like to the side more.
I think you're thinking vastus lateralis, but still. What else is special about... You're right, by the way. I apologize for making you doubt yourself. You're right. This is the rectus femoris. But I want to know what in this picture lets us know for sure it's the rectus femoris and not the vastus intermedius. And the clue is underneath his shorts. Dun, dun, dun. That sounds ominous. It's because it goes up to his hip. The rectus femoris goes up to his hip. The fact this thing disappeared underneath, I guess what is this guy's underpants, is where his anterior inferior iliac spine is, but that's right below your anterior superior iliac spine. It's right there. It's right below that bump, and that's what makes the rectus femoris cross over your hip joint too. All right, so you are 100% right though. It's a longer muscle than the vastus intermedius. Since it goes across two joints, what two actions can it do?
Flex the hip and cross the nose.
Flex the hip is 100% correct. What can it do to the knee?
Because is it flex the knee instead?
I know you want us to think back. When you go to the gym and you sit down on the little leg extension machine, you ever done that?
Also extends the knee.
Extends the knee.
Extends the hip.
Yeah, flexion of the hip, extend the knee. Good job. Really good job. I like it. Okay. Miss Ratana. Hi. This one's tough. I apologize for that. I really do. Miss Ratana, do you have any idea what muscle this might be? It's all by itself. It is not part of a muscle group. It's not part of the quads. It is in front. It actually runs over the quads. And it starts with an S.
Sartorius.
Yeah, she's 100% right. Really well done. Thank you. Sartorius. This is the sartorius. Everybody, this is the most superficial muscle on your thigh. And it's very thin. And I can't tell you how many massage therapists have worked on me, and they go up my thigh muscles, and they pop over this muscle because it kind of stretches with them and then pops underneath their hand, and they go, oh, you've got a knot in your quads. No, idiot. You don't know where the sartorius is. I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking about these people. I'm like, and so they start to try to work out something they think is a knot, and it's a muscle they're going over. That happens in the back a lot, too, by the way. People go up your spinal erectors and run over your rhomboids, and they go bump, 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 and they go, oh, you've got knots back here. No, you're running over muscles going the other way. You just want to cross railroad tracks. Sartorius, beautiful. Really beautiful. It's a very hard muscle to see. You can feel it on almost everybody if you're really sensitive, but it's very hard to see, except in like bodybuilders. They have some, I've seen some amazing sartoriuses out there. I call this, sartorius means tailor. This is your tailor's muscle, sit cross-legged. You couldn't sit cross-legged without this muscle because it flexes the leg, laterally rotates the hip, and flexes the knee to bring it up onto your hip. It's your hacky sack muscle. Yeah. Okay. Miss Lopez Moreno, what muscle is this?
Is that the vastus letters or the intermediate?
Yes, it is. It's vastus intermedius. Why didn't you think it was the rectus femoris?
Because it doesn't go to the hip.
Thank you, ma'am. That's exactly what I wanted you to say. Thank you. Because it doesn't go to the hip. It misses it by quite a ways here. Which means, by the way, it only crosses over the knee, which means it only has one action. What is that one action, Miss Lopez Moreno? One action.
Extend the knee.
Love it. Thank you. Really, really well done. Ms. Dowler, what is this muscle?
The vastus lateralis.
Yes. How many joints does it cross over?
2.
Really?
1.
Really?
I don't know.
You doubted yourself, so I was like, what other answers can we get? It does not go across the hip. I know it looks like it does. It goes way the heck up there. It is the thing that actually gives shape to the side of your leg. But it doesn't cross over the hip. It stops kind of up at the greater trochanter, basically. So it only crosses over 1. So it inserts in the same place that all the other vastuses do and the rectus femoris. So what one action can it create? It's hard to tell from this picture, but...
Extension of the knee.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, extension of the knee. Yeah. What, by the way, just since I'm with you here, what's this running over the top of it? There's like a band of fascia running over the top of it.
The iliotibial tract.
Yeah, iliotibial tract. By the way, you'll hear people call it the iliotibial tract. You'll hear people call it the iliotibial band. They're both the same thing, but she's 100% right. Thank you, ma'am. Vastus lateralis. Nicely, nicely done. Yes. Miss Tiskett. This is not easy, but there is a muscle down here. Down here, we've been talking about quads, so it's one of your quads. Which quad is this?
Rectus medialis.
Yes, you're 100% right. Thank you, ma'am. Vastus medialis. Yeah. Neat. Well done. Thank you. That's great. It's fantastic. Miss Juntapone. This is the back of this person's leg. They're laying face down. This is the back of their leg. What muscle group? It's a whole bunch of muscles. What muscle group is this?
Cross.
No, that's the front of the leg. This is the back. Back of your leg. I can't show you.
Hamstring.
Hamstrings, yeah. What are the 3 hamstrings?
3 hamstring like bicep femoris, semitendinosus, semibicipitalis.
I think you said it, but you mix them up. So, biceps femoris,
Bicep femoris,
semitendinosus,
semitendinosus,
and semimembranosus.
semimembranosus.
Perfect. That was awesome. Those are going to be the hardest muscles to say. Thank you. That was really good. Hamstrings. Hamstrings. Okay. I'm liking that. Mr. Ashok Ali, what muscle is this? We're still face down, by the way. This guy is still face down.
The gluteus maximus.
Yes, sir. All day long. Hey, what, can you tell me a couple of actions this muscle might have? Like if it contracts, goes back.
Believe
Yeah, go ahead.
it should be able to. What is it called?
I don't know.
Extend the hip.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
I can't hear anybody.
Oh, well, we can hear you.
I can't either. I can't hear
I
anybody.
can't hear anybody else responding either.
Me too, I can't hear.
Oh, that's weird. Anyway, Mr. Shockley just said this is the gluteus maximus. He correctly just said it extends the hip. He was also commenting about how much he likes working with each and every one of you. Mr. Shockley, that's 100% correct, sir. One other thing, because it runs diagonal, it can also rotate the hip. Which way do you think it can rotate it, laterally or medially?
Let me think.
This is trickier, but I
It
thought...
would be. I feel like it would be medially since the fiber's running.
But they're going to grab that thigh and they're going to pull it out.
I see. Laterally.
Yeah, well done. Thank you, sir. Good job. So, everybody, the gluteus maximus, you guys can hear me, though, right? You just can't hear each other. Okay. Very strange. Don't know about that. Anyway, Mr. Shockley very correctly identifies this, the gluteus maximus, very correctly identified. It extends the femur, the hip. which is its main job, right? That's why people go do squats to build their booty, or butt blasters. If you've ever seen those, they're pretty much just you extending your hip. But it also does a lateral rotation because it's going diagonal. It can grab on the side of the femur. It does lateral rotations, which may not seem like a big deal, but you laterally rotate when you walk. You actually twist your hips out when you walk. So it actually helps you as a long distance kind of walking muscle as well too. It's not the walker muscle, that's the hamstrings, but it helps you with walking too. Very cool. Okay. Mr. Bigelow. What muscle is this?
I believe the gluteus medius.
Mr. Bigelow has signified the gluteus medius, and he is correctus. Why didn't you say well, you didn't say the gluteus maximus, because that's back here, I hope. Why didn't you say the gluteus minimus?
Because it's more towards the front.
Yeah, the gluteus minimus is actually probably this bump right here. The gluteus minimus is far enough frontwards that it can actually be a flexor, right? This guy looked like it's on the side. It can be an abductor. By the way, this will not be on the test. It doesn't matter. I just don't want you guys to get into a detailed argument with somebody and not know this. I always say this is an abductor. It's on the side of your body, and it is an abductor. That is its main job. But these front fibers are far enough frontwards that some of these could flex the hip if they wanted to. I don't think that's what's important because the gluteus minimus does much more of a hip flexion, and I want you to understand concepts in this class instead. But somebody might be like, well, no, it does two functions. It also can be a flexor of the hip with the anterior fibers right here. That's 100% true. It just seems like we're getting caught up in nitpicky details when I want us to understand concepts, you know. Well done. Well, Mr. Bigelow, what muscle's this? I kind of lied to you a little bit about this bump up here.
So would that be the minimus?
Yeah, it's the minimus. Yeah, it's only slightly more forward. I thought it was this bump here. I actually suspect this bump, I'm sorry, is the tensor fascia lata. Yeah, because it's going up to the hip for one thing. But anyway, this is the gluteus minimus, which is a little bit further forward and tends to be more of a hip flexor. Cool.
Mr. Tapscott, thank you for your grace. Let me go out and do that for my daughter.
Yeah, I assumed you're on your phone. I didn't check, but I hope.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, good. There we go.
Thank you.
There's no grace then, sir. Yeah. Mr. Kachekian.
So are the gluteus medius and minimus on top of each other?
Yes. Really good question, by the way. So, you guys know how I like to do hand signals that I've been begging you all to do all year, but I just do them by myself anyway. So, so I always put my hands on my buns back here, and I go gluteus max, med, min. Well, they would also be like shingles. So the furthest back muscle is your gluteus maximus. Then it is slightly overlapping your gluteus medius, which is smaller and a little bit more anterior. The gluteus medius is slightly overlapping your gluteus minimus, which is even more anterior. So they kind of go from back to front, from superficial to deep, from higher to lower, believe it or not. There's even a little bit of a lowering. So yes, all that's true. It's all good stuff to kind of know about all that. And that's why they all kind of wrap around the hip and can actually technically do slightly different things depending on where they're at. Really, the gluteus medius and minimus can do flexions and extensions depending on which fiber. But the minimus is even more in front, so it tends to do more of the flexing stuff. The medius tends to do more of the abducting stuff, but all that kind of stuff. Good question, though. Aha! All right. Mr. Bigelow, just to keep continuity here, what muscle is this, based on the conversations we've had?
That would be the flexor. Let's see.
I know why you're...
Fascia lata?
Tensor fascia lata, TFL.
Yeah, tensor. Okay, yeah.
Tensor fascia lata heads down here, and in a very weird way, its tendon, if you could call it that, but you could, runs all the way down here. What is kind of like the tendon of the tensor fascia lata? Like, where is it going from here?
into the IT band?
Yes. He's 100% right. You could actually argue the IT band is the tendon of the tensor fascia lata. But you could argue that the IT band is also a little bit of the tendon of the gluteus maximus. They triangulate there. But anyway, yes. Very well done. Thank you, sir. Okay. This stuff's hard. Miss Cuppage. Where art thou? Miss Cuppage? Going once?
I'm here. I'm just trying. I was zoomed in and I couldn't find my. Hold on. There we go. I couldn't find a button. I was panicking. Like,
Never a dull moment. Miss Cuppage, what muscle or muscles? This is only one muscle, but I could easily see somebody making the mistake of
Hush, Jarrett.
this.
Hush.
Is she fermented? Is that the problem? What muscle could this be? What muscle group could it be first?
That is the adductors.
Yeah, so this is an adductor muscle. She's 100% correct. That alone makes me very happy. Okay? And what adductor do you suppose it is?
I think it's the adductor brevis.
I think so too, but by the way, just to let you guys know that I'm not completely cruel. Yes, I will not let you go back to a question that you've taken before in the final, but this could have been the pectineus too, right? They're both really small, and the pectineus would not have been a choice on the test.
Because it's under that.
Yeah, it's actually kind of shown through the sheet right here. That's that little guy. But I'm not trying to make those little bit of distinctions. Hey, by the way, so Mr. Kachekian kind of asked about the layering of the glutes. Something to think about for the adductors. They kind of go from big to small, back to front also. Way back here, you've got your adductor magnus, and then kind of like the gracilis longus brevis pectineus. And so they kind of go from the back of your leg to the front, and the back of your pelvis, you know, like your ischial tuberosity up to your pubic symphysis. So they kind of work from back to front, big to small, just like your glutes in a way. Just kind of a way to kind of remember little things about them. Really well done, Miss Cuppage. Hey, Miss Cuppage, since you're already unmuted, which, I mean,
Yes.
saves us like 5 minutes right there, let's ask you, what is this muscle right here? The one that's dark red.
The dark red one is the adductor longus.
Yeah, and I love that she answered that because it'd be tempting to think, well, it's not that long. It's not that long, but it's just longer than the brevis. Remember, adductors, all muscles in your body are named like comparing to something else. It does not mean it's a very long muscle. It just means it's longer than the very short one. Yeah, well done.
Less long than the other ones that are called
Yes.
longuses.
Yeah, Miss Cuppage, what's this? This guy's laying on his side now. He's kind of hugging a pillow, right?
That guy's the Magnus.
That guy's the Magnus. He's in back and he's big. Yeah.
And he's behind that tendon, which I'm not sure what that tendon is called.
You mean he's going down to the tendon? The
Yeah, but it's on the back side of your
leg?
It's kind of more on the posterior side of your leg, even though it's an adductor. Right?
Well, I'm just so confused by what you mean by the tendon. I mean, I know what a tendon is.
Yeah, I feel like, isn't there a tendon in between?
In between what?
Isn't that just a semitendinosus? What are those muscles? Are those?
On the
Well, the
side?
semitendinosus and semimembranosus are right here by there. Are you talking about it going down? Are you talking about it? What? I don't
Go
know.
ahead.
No,
The
actually.
medial side of your groin area of where your adductors are.
Uh-huh.
So there's a tendon, right, that runs.
And there's loads of tendons. I'm not trying to play stupid. I really don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just trying to say that the adductor magnus is behind that super ropey area that is a tendon that I don't know what it is. I'll look it up.
Okay, you look that up. I love that. Okay. And, Ms. Cuppage, let's just finish it all off with what's this?
That is the gracilis.
Yes, it is. All day long it's the gracilis. How many joints does that cross over?
2.
2. Yeah. Very, very good. So it can actually add to knee stability because it goes across your medial knee. It can help with the flexion of the knee, but it's not strong enough to do very much there. But it helps with stability of the knee because 3 muscles come together there. The gracilis and 2 other muscles.
And Serenus.
And Serenus, yeah. What other 2 muscles come together with the gracilis down here by this guy's hand?
The
right?
semis.
One is a semitendinosus.
Yeah.
And then one is not a hamstring. So the hamstring comes from the back, semitendinosus comes from the back. What comes across the top here from the front and go in?
Gracilis. No, sartorius.
Sartorius, yeah. And that's how they triangulate to protect the medial knee from blowing out. I love it. Good job. That was really good.
Thanks.
I think the fermented thing is working for you.
I would like to defend myself.
You need no defense, madam. You need no defense. Yeah, at all. Thank you. Really well done. Seriously. Okay, and this is pectineus. We're letting that go. All those beautiful adductors there. Love it. Love it. Let's see. Miss Kilpatrick, do you know what muscle this is or what band this is?
Band?
Yeah, it is a band or a tract of fascia. And this is a muscle that's kind of on the front of your hip. This person's laying face up right now.
Okay.
This is on the outside of their leg. This is a tiny muscle here. This band here is it's a lot of fascia that you actually have on the side of your leg, and this muscle actually helps to tense up.
Tissue fasciitis?
Yeah, she's right. By the way, just because you were right. This is your iliotibial tract or your iliotibial band, and this is your tensor fascia lata. Well done. Thank you, ma'am. Really well done. I love it. Right here is tensor fascia lata. Really good job. Mr. Nochin, what is this, sir?
Sartorius?
Yes, sir, it is. Thank you. Different picture. He's 100% right. You guys are doing excellent. Miss Langford, what muscle is this? This person is face down. Miss Langford?
Yes, I'm here. It looks like the gluteal muscle maximus.
Yeah. Gluteus maximus. Well done. What 2 actions can this muscle perform? They're both on the hip, but like what 2 actions? Because it runs diagonal, and things that run diagonal kind of often do 2 things.
Okay.
I mean, so you could argue 3 things depending, but still.
So one of them is extension.
Yes, that's the most important, by the way. It is the most powerful extender of your hip. Yes, helps you jump, helps you get out of a squat, helps you do all sorts of stuff. Yes, because it's going diagonal, though, it can also kind of grab the hip and kind of roll it, rotate it. Which way would it rotate the finger? Yeah, the femur.
Is it lateral rotation?
It is, ma'am. It is a lateral hip rotator, just like your deep 6. Well done, thank you. Gluteus maximus, lateral hip rotator, awesome. Miss Sawick, which muscle is this? Miss Sawick. Miss Sawick? Hello? Miss Sawick? Once, twice? Alright. I just saw you on there. Okay. Alright. Miss Magruder, what muscle is this?
This is the probably the same from it's either the pisiform or piriformis.
Yeah, It's
That's
the
it.
it's the
You want to
pure
say it right to this one?
it's the piriformis.
Beautiful. I get them two mixed up.
That's right.
Wait.
It's part. By the way, I love that she guessed this. It makes the letter T, by the way, very strangely, with your sacrum kind of on top of the letter, and this is the down part. It's part of what muscle group, madam?
Don't tell me.
I'm not going to, but I will. I'll give you 6 chances to guess, though. Okay.
You just gave me a clue. It's the sisters. The deep six.
The deep 6. Yeah, the deep 6, by the way, is slang, but it's slang we all use. They're really called your lateral hip rotators. So the deep 6, I often just read it together as a teacher, the deep 6 lateral hip rotators. Most people call them the deep 6, though. But their technical name is the lateral hip rotators. There's 6 of them, and they're deep to your glutes. That's why they're called that. So the deep 6, that's awesome. For $500 that Mystery Bar will give you, he's good for it. Can you name all 6 lateral hip rotators? This is hard. I admit that.
I don't know. That word. I'm trying to say this muscle that I just said. Piriformis.
Piriformis, 100% correct.
Piriformis.
If you want hints, I'll give you obturator.
Oh yes, obturator. What is it? Interior.
Internus.
Internus. Obturator. Externus. You have the
2 gems. Well, yeah, this one's true too. What you're about to say.
quadratus.
It goes to your femur.
Femoris.
Mm-hmm.
You have I can't pronounce the name.
Gemellus.
There you go. Gemellus inferior.
Mm-hmm.
Gemellus superior.
Bam, you're done.
Oh.
You did great. So what she said was obturator internus, obturator externus, gemellus superior, gemellus inferior, piriformis, and quadratus femoris, the 4-sided muscle on the lateral hip rotators. Really, really well done. Which one of those is most superior? Which one is the highest up?
I think it's the piriformis.
It is. Which one is most inferior?
The quadratus.
Femoris.
Femoris.
Yeah. And they all laterally rotate your hip. That's the action they all do. Which one do people claim can pinch your sciatic nerve? I think other ones can. That's the whole reason I'm saying that. But
I knew you was heading to that. The piriformis.
Yeah. Thank you for literally just summarizing everything we need to know about these muscles. That was really good. Thank you, man. Really nicely done. Okay. Like that. There's T is for piriformis. That's a weird thing to say. Miss Ramirez. What? Hi. This is one of the muscles that Miss Magruder just talked to us about. So it is one of the deep 6 lateral hip rotators. Which one do you suppose it is? It's not easy. But there are some clues I can give you.
May you give me the clues, please?
Yes, I will. So one of the clues is, it's not perfect, okay? But essentially this is a 4-sided muscle. It looks like a rectangle. It's a 4-sided muscle that goes to the femur. So if only one of the deep 6 was named the 4-sided muscle that goes to the femur, we would have the answer to this question. This weekend, by the way, I don't want to distract you, but this weekend I'm going to be going out with my buddies, and we're going to ride those neat ATVs with the 4 wheels.
The quads.
Yeah, those are so cool. Yeah. Anyway, back to the 4-sided muscle that goes to the
I
femur.
know where.
The Harry Potter sounding.
That's what she said.
It's okay. So, you just said quads, right?
Yes.
Quad means 4. If we wanted to make it sound like Harry Potter, we'd say quadratus. Good. So, and it's going to the femur. So can you make femur sound Harry Potterish?
Quadratus femoris.
Yeah. Quadratus femoris. Yeah, that was awesome. Could you say it again?
Quadratus femoris.
Yeah. Could you say it again?
Quadratus femoris.
Yeah. Can you see it up there?
Yes.
Cool. Hey, real quick question. What muscle is this? Piriformis.
Piriformis.
What muscle is this?
Piriformis.
Yeah. Hey, what muscle is that?
Quadratus.
Quadratus?
Quadratus femoris.
Hey, I don't know if this will help. I really mean this sincerely, though. These are Latin words, and all Romance languages like Spanish come from Latin. So if you look at this, it's quadratus femoris. It's a little bit Spanish sounding. Sometimes that kind of helps. Hey, what muscle is this?
Piriformis.
Yeah! Hey, what muscle's this?
Quadratus.
You're doing great. You're doing great. I'm just putting you on the spot, and I apologize for
I
that. But you're doing so good. You're doing so good. We're just studying together.
Quadratus femoris.
Yeah! Quadratus femoris. I love it. Cool. And we care about all these because they can pinch this thing. This is called your sciatic nerve. Yeah! Good job, ma'am. Thank you. I, by the way, because I love you so much, I promise to come back and ask you those questions for the next 2 months before you graduate. So probably once a week you'll hear me ask that. Just might want to put a note down or something. That's awesome. Who did I not call on? I feel like I've at least called on everybody once. But
Me! Oh my gosh, I've been waiting for so long.
Oh, that's because you asked questions. And so, yeah. Miss Stewart. Okay. Well. All right, madam. She's been waiting for so long. Oh,
I really have.
okay. All right, ma'am. What muscle is this on the lateral side of the foot that he is pointing to?
Is it the adductor or abductor? I want to say digiti minimi, but I know it's not.
Why is it not?
It just sounds weird. Is that what it is?
Yeah, all this stuff sounds
Okay,
weird.
cool.
If you guys don't sound like Harry Potter and it doesn't sound ridiculous, you're probably not saying it right.
True.
Yep, abductor digiti minimi. It almost sounds like you're right, like an Austin Powers joke, but it's not. Madam, what 2 muscles are these?
So the one on the left is the abductor hallucis.
Yes.
And then the other one is flexor digitorum brevis.
Yeah, flexor digitorum brevis. Really nicely done. I love the way she was thinking. What's this then?
That is the extensor digitorum brevis.
Yes, again. Excellent. Beautiful. What muscle is this?
The flexor digitorum brevis.
Yes. What fascia is this?
The plantar aponeurosis.
Yes. Plantar aponeurosis, plantar fascia, both are acceptable. Excellent. What muscle is this?
Is that the tibialis anterior?
No, and why are you wrong?
Oh, because it's the extensor digitorum longus.
That is correct, but why? I agree, by the way. But tell me more about why you were wrong. Not because I'm trying to hammer that in. I'm trying to make a point.
Because the tibialis anterior connects to the medial aspects.
Yes, it would cross over the foot, and it doesn't go to the toes, but it would cross over the foot and go to the medial side of the foot. Really well said. Thank you. Thank you, Brad. I just wanted to illustrate that for everybody. I wasn't trying to run that in the ground. So what muscle is this?
Is that the extensor hallucis longus?
Yes. Beautiful. What muscle is this?
Tibialis anterior.
Because it crosses over the medial aspect of the foot. Yeah, it would keep going there. You just can't see it. It goes underneath the foot. Literally goes underneath it. Beautiful. What muscle's this?
Gastrocnemius.
Yes. What muscle's that?
Soleus.
Yes. What little cute, adorable little red muscle is that? It's about the size.
Plantaris?
Plantaris, yes it is. Yep. Longest tendon in the body, but the muscle's about the size of the contractile part of the muscle is about the size of my thumb.
Yeah.
Tiny. What two muscles are these? And what is the other name for them? Dun, dun, dun.
That's the. Hold up. Full. Oh, okay. Flexor hallucis longus. Flexor.
Do they go to the big toe?
Oh, no. Flexor digitorum longus.
Do they go to the digits? They run along the fibula, I'll tell you that.
Oh, fibularis longus and brevis, and then they're the peroneals.
Thank you. Peroneals, fibularis longus and brevis, or the fibularis. Yes, all correct. Awesome. What muscle's this?
The gastrocnemius. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Quadratus. Wait, rectus femoris. Wow.
Yeah, it's hard what we're doing right now. Rectus femoris, yes, she is right. What muscle's this?
The sartorius.
Yes, right. What muscle's this?
Vastus intermedius.
Yes. What muscle's this?
Vastus lateralis.
Yes. What muscle is that teardropped one?
Vastus medius.
Yep, vastus medialis. Then close enough, though. You would have gotten it right on the test. What muscle group is this on the back of the leg?
Hamstring.
Hamstrings. What muscle is that?
Gluteus maximus.
Yes. What muscle is that on the side of the hip?
Oof.
Don't look at your book. You know. Come on. What muscle group
Is
is it?
it part of the lateral hip rotators?
No, those are deep underneath the glutes. I like the mistake you're making because you're in the right area. But how many glutes do you have?
Oh, it's the minimus.
Or the
Oh, medius.
medius, yeah.
That's
By the way,
what
everybody,
I'm
this is
talking
by the way, I almost want you guys not to think of people as having butts anymore. I know it sounds funny, but they don't have butts. Everybody just has hips. Your butt really is part of your hips. That's why it's just a bigger muscle of your hips. But like when I ask people about like working on I talk about their hips. There is no butts to me anymore. Anyway, gluteus medius. Yes, ma'am. What's this then?
Gluteus minimus.
Yes. What's that?
Tensor fascia lata.
Yes, it's the most anterior of all those, tensor fascia lata. Good. What muscle is this?
Adductor.
Yes. What? It's really
Oh, is it brevis?
Yeah. Adductor brevis, really short. Then what's this one, the dark red one here?
The adductor longus.
Yes. Then what's this really big red one in back? Still on the inside of the legs, still an adductor. It's just really big and it's in back. It's the most posterior adductor in the medial compartment.
Quadratus. Femor.
That is a deep 6 lateral hip rotator.
Yeah.
This is the name I wanted to give my son, but my ex-wife wouldn't let me. I mean, not
You want to
adductor.
name him abductor?
No. Well, it would have been adductor, but no. I wanted to name him the second part, though.
Is adductor part of the name?
Yeah.
So I said brevis and longus.
You sure did.
So that means something else?
It sure does.
Hold on.
Jeez, this is a failure of
Oh!
magnum proportion. Oh, Magnus! Yes, your adductor magnus is the largest. Remember, adductors are the biggest in back and get smaller as they go forward. Adductor magnus. Woo! That's what I want to name my son. Magnus. Magnus Tapscott.
That'd actually be cute.
It'd be super cute. I also want to name him Magnum, but I wasn't allowed to do that. And Caliber. Wasn't allowed to do that. It'd be kind of cool. When you turn 44, it'd be like a 44 caliber. So cool. Anyway, sorry. What muscle is this? Still on the inner thigh.
Pectineus?
Pectineus is really tiny. It's your tiniest adductor.
Oh.
This is your longest adductor.
Oh, is it I was gonna say gracilis
Yep.
first.
There's only one adductor that crosses over the knee. I'm not just saying that for you, I'm saying that for everybody. There is only one adductor that crosses over the knee. I'm saying that for everybody as though it might be a question one day. There is only one adductor that crosses over the knee, and that's gracilis.
Oh, okay. I was
Cool.
thinking it'd be more
What
slender.
is this one?
Is that the quadratus femoris?
That's a deep 6 lateral hip rotator in your butt. This is not their butt. I know that you like that answer, but
That's a TFL?
no, you just said the answer. It's another adductor.
Adductor magnus? Brevis?
Wait. You just said adductor magnus. Does that thing look like a magnus to you?
No.
Okay. You already did brevis. You already did longus. You already did gracilis.
Pectineus?
Yes. Pectineus is actually your smallest adductor. Adductor pectineus. Sorry, it's not adductor pectineus. Okay. What band of fascia is this?
IT band, iliotibial tract.
Yep, nicely done. What muscle is that?
The tensor fascia lata.
Yes. What muscle is this on the front of the leg going diagonally across it?
Looks like the sartorius.
It is the sartorius. Good. What muscle is this? Back
Gluteus maximus.
Yep. What muscle is this?
Piriformis.
Yes. What muscle is that?
Quadratus femoris.
Now you can use that answer. Yes. Quadratus femoris.
Thank you, I've been waiting for that.
What nerve is this?
The sciatic nerve?
Yeah. Sciatic nerve.
Okay, cool.
Sciatic nerve, which often people have sciatica, which is when that nerve's pinched. They'll get numbness all the way down their leg, all sorts of stuff. Really common problem. One of the first things we do is loosen up the glutes and the deep 6 lateral hip rotators. One of the first things we do for sciatic problems. Number one. Then we, by the way, start to look at their low back because the nerve can actually be pinched up higher at the back. But still, it's one of the first things we do. Okay, that was a good review, Ms. Stewart. Who here is feeling? Who here wants to grab the torch from Miss Stewart and go over some stuff we haven't gone over yet? Miss Sawick, yes.
You haven't called on me once yet.
I called on you. You didn't answer.
Oh.
And you
Look,
weren't on
you're
camera.
Quiet, okay?
Yeah?
My air conditioning is really loud, so sorry. I'm working on homework. I'm done, I think.
Miss Sawick, what muscle is this?
The iliacus.
She's right, everybody. It's the iliacus. It's part, we don't normally call it, she's 100% right. It is the iliacus. But we normally refer to it as part of a muscle group. What's that muscle group called?
Iliopsoas.
Iliopsoas, which helps to create what kind of action in your hip?
Flexion.
Flexion hip. Yes. It really is the muscle that connects the iliopsoas, the psoas major and iliacus, so the muscle that connects your upper body and your lower body and creates a flexion of the hip. It's the one that can get shortened, and it's a major culprit of anterior tilt. All right, beautiful little thing there. What muscle is this, Miss Sawick? Keep going.
Psoas major.
Psoas major. Not everybody has a psoas minor. Psoas minor would be down there. Don't even worry about it. Psoas major. Boom. Yep. This is underneath your tummy, by the way. Abdominal. By the way, we show you the abdominal aorta because if you're going through somebody's stomach to get to their psoas major and you get a pulse, back off. You're on their abdominal aorta, which is the pipe that feeds the blood to their entire lower part of the body. You're not going to kill them instantly, but you need to get off it. And you'll feel it. It's like, boom, 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 boom. It's thick, and it's you're on the abdominal aorta, and you need to get off the abdominal aorta. This is also why we don't have pregnant women lay on their stomachs, because the baby pushes against the abdominal aorta and traps it against the spine. And so the tube that is feeding blood to the baby and the mother gets crushed between the baby and the mother's spine. And you cut that off for a long period of time and you got problems. That's why we don't have moms lay on their stomach. It's not because we're worried about their stomach crushing the baby. They've got They've got fluid in their stomach that's actually protecting the child. I'm not worried about pressure on the tummy. We're worried about the weight of the spine and the baby coming together and crushing this abdominal aorta. That's why we have them lay on their side. That's why you don't lay on your stomach when you're pregnant. It's not so much the stomach itself. Okay, Mr. Wick, what muscle is this?
It looks like the iliocostalis.
Yes, it goes from the crest of the ilium to the costals, iliocostalis. What muscle is this?
Longissimus.
Yes, because it goes all the way up to the head. I don't love this picture because it also goes to the mastoid process, but it's going up to the head. She's right, it's the longissimus. What muscle is this? It's really only showing you half of it on each side, but it is attached to the spinous processes, so it must be the...
Spinalis.
It is the spinalis. That is the three lateral... the three erector spinae muscles. What two muscles are these?
Rotatories and multifidi.
Which one would be on top? I don't mean on each other, I mean in this picture. Because one is a little bit longer and covers the sacrum, one is shorter and does not cover the sacrum.
I think the multifidi are on top.
She is right. The multifidi are longer and they also cover the sacrum. It's one of the reasons we rub people's sacrums. These pictures are just showing you half of them. On a real human peen, the multifidi would be on both sides, but then you couldn't see the rotatories. That's why they did it this way. What muscle is this, Miss Wick? Goes from your spine to your head or your cap.
Oh, splenius capitis.
That is correct, splenius capitis. What muscle is this? They make up the speed bumps of your neck and actually give the reason that you have those kind of two lines going down the back of your neck.
Splenius lubricis.
No, but I like that guess. You're in the right area. This is part of the spine and going to the cap.
Semispinalis capitis.
Semispinalis capitis, that's correct. By the way, they really do give those two bumps in the back of your neck, but they're underneath the traps. They just push the traps up in that area. What's this muscle?
Is that the same one? Splenius capitis?
Splenius capitis, yes. What muscle group is this?
Occipitals.
Yep, suboccipitals. There's 8 of them, 4 on each side. What muscle is this?
Trapezius.
Yes. What? I don't like this picture. I wouldn't use it in a test, but what muscle group is this before it?
The rector spinae.
It's the rector spinae group, yes. What muscle is this?
Is that quadratus femoris?
Yeah, it is. I know it doesn't really look four-sided, but that's how people named it when they saw it. It is your quadratus lumborum, which is part of what muscle group?
Your abdominals.
Yep, it's actually considered your deepest abdominal because when we're talking about the human body, we talk about it from the front. It's obviously very superficial and back, but from the front, it's your deepest abdominal. Well, this is the front of the body now. Which muscle is this?
Oh, it's one of the obliques.
She's right, it goes diagonal, it's on the side, so it's one of the obliques. Can you remember how Tapscott remembers the directions of the fibers when he talks about
that? Yourself or something, but I don't remember which is which. I'm just going to guess that it is external obliques.
Are you sure?
No, not sure.
Okay.
Internal obliques?
How do we remember? That's what's really important.
Yeah, you do this or this, but I don't remember.
So if my hands are external and they do this, that's
okay, so they're external obliques.
Oh, so that little method helps. All right.
So my guess was right.
Your guess was right. You had a 50-50 chance. That's no way to go through life.
50-50 isn't bad.
Which one is this one?
Transverse abdominals?
Is it going straight across the abdominals like the transverse plane?
No, rectus abdominis.
Is it going straight up and down?
Oh, internal obliques.
Internal obliques. Again, Tapscott's little method of sticking his hands down there would have looked a lot like these fibers going right down there, just like I did it.
Really.
It's
They're
almost
going
like
up and down.
it's just like I thought about. No, this time you're wrong.
It didn't work, obviously.
It didn't work because you didn't use it.
I thought about it, but it didn't work.
I mean, you were guessing transverse, which I don't.
Do you really think I did that good in geometry to remember what transverse means?
It's okay to be wrong. Okay. Which muscle is this?
Rectus abdominis.
That is correct. This one runs up and down. Rectus abdominis. Which one is this? Look at the fibers.
Transverse abdominis.
Yes, they go across. Good. What muscle is this?
Sternocleidomastoid.
Sternocleidomastoid. What's its nickname, everybody?
SCM.
SCM. And it is the prayer muscle. It actually bows your head down in prayer. Omnis Patris Spiritus Sancto. Yeah. Boom. I doubt you're going to know these, but what are these?
Well, it's a neck muscle.
It is a neck muscle. I don't think we've learned these yet. That's why I've mentioned them and stuff like that, but I don't know if we've learned these. But you guys will be learning them, and they're really important, and you've heard about them. Anybody want to give me an answer on these? What is this muscle here? Or muscles? It's actually 3 muscles. I don't know which one they're talking about here. Actually, I suspect
The scalenes?
yeah, it's the anterior scalene, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Scalene muscles are really neat because they attach to the side of your neck, guys, and they can pinch the brachial plexus for thoracic outlet syndrome. So we will discuss them when we get to the neck and head, which we have not done yet, actually. We have not finished your anatomy. You still have to do forearms and hands and head and neck. Actually, we'll do head and neck, then forearms and hands. But that's scalenes. That was anterior scalenes. You have middle scalenes and you have posterior scalenes. And you can actually get your brachial plexus, which is the nerve that feeds your arm, can get pinched out of the side of your neck when these things are tight. And they go from the side of your neck, with all 3 of these muscles, they go to almost all your cervical vertebrae, basically. And they hook to your first 2 ribs, depending on which one it is. Anyway, your brachial plexus forms out of the side of your neck and goes through these muscles and can get pinched by them. Yeah. Boom. All right. Thank you, Mr. Wick. Just since I got 5 minutes with you guys, I'm not going to call on anybody right now. You can play with your homework or whatever, but you might want a preview of coming attractions. This is your masseter. We will be learning about this. It lets you masticate, which is to chew your food. You are all masticators. And if this is your masseter, it's a very powerful muscle, by the way. You can generate about 300 foot-pounds of force inside your mouth, which is enough to bite a finger off, which takes a lot of force. And it is the jaw muscle you actually see on some people. You see it on horses really well, but you can see it on some people. There's the masseter. This is the temporalis. It too helps you chew. The masseter is not your only chewing muscle. The temporalis also goes down to your mandible. It just hooks into a different place. And we will be talking about this too. It actually goes underneath your cheekbones there. That's your zygomatic arch. It goes underneath your cheekbones and hooks down into your jaw. That's the temporalis. Super important muscle. You have some muscles. This is just preview of coming attractions. You don't need to remember this. You've got some muscles called the hyoids. There's a bone in here called your hyoid bone, right? It's the one that always gets crushed in murder mysteries, right? When somebody gets strangled, their hyoid bone gets crushed. That bone has 4 muscles on top that are hooked to it and 4 muscles underneath that are hooked to it. And they're very tiny, but they're extremely important because the hyoid bone helps you to control your tongue and swallowing and all that kind of stuff, because you guys all do something really amazing. You're able to eat with this hole here, talk with this hole, and breathe through this hole. So the ability to articulate your mouth and your tongue is extremely important. In fact, most of us can talk, breathe, and eat food at the same time, which is amazing. And the hyoid muscles help you do that. You've got 4 above the hyoid bone that are called the suprahyoids. I actually do this to remember them. Suprahyoids, 4 underneath the hyoid bone. Infrahyoids. Suprahyoids, infrahyoids. This is one of the suprahyoids called the digastric. It's a really cool little muscle. That's all your suprahyoids right there. It's kind of a neat picture of them. Very, very cool. The bottom of your mouth is a suprahyoid, by the way. It's the mylohyoid. The bottom of your mouth, when you push under here, the fact that that skin doesn't just go straight through and you hit muscle, that's one of your suprahyoids there. These are the muscles underneath the hyoid bone, and these are called the infrahyoids. And when we get to them, it's really cool. You're going to find out where this one goes. The omohyoid goes to a place you would never expect. But we're going to stop right there. because that's a good cliffhanger. I'm going to see you guys tomorrow, so we can talk about all that tomorrow. Okay. Good job. Yeah. Yay. Questions, comments in our last 60 seconds? Anything I need to know about? I'll be seeing you guys again tomorrow in lecture. All that good stuff. You have 3 pieces of homework. For many of you, it's probably done already. I hope it is. All that good stuff. Make sure you're doing your homework. Eat your Wheaties. Call your mother. Those are all my life advice things for you. Yeah. All right. Have a very good day at lab today. Try something new. Don't just do something you're good at. Do something you're bad at. It's super important. That's how you get good. If you won't try it in lab, you'll never try it in the real world.
I have a quick suggestion.
All right, you've got 15 seconds.
If you haven't done a 2-hour massage for a while, and since clinic is coming up, I highly recommend it.
I highly recommend it too. I could not agree more. Yeah, you want to do a 2-hour massage for sure. I agree. Awesome. All right, everybody. 2-hour massages. Have a great day. Thank you. That was a really good recommendation, Ms. Covage. I couldn't agree more.
Thank you, Mr. T.
Thank you, Miss C.
I pity the fool.
I pity the fool. Mr. T.